Sporadic, what's circuit theory that you mentioned earlier?
God, it's
This is in relation to Earth's magnetic field. So if you go look at like a NASA Spaceflight Goddard Center, NASA Goddard Spaceflight Center, you're going to read on their website how to query satellites and how to track them. They talk about that there are certain magnetic occupancy regions in the high reaches of what you call space. They can become too crowded with assets. And there are also magnetic field lines that connect not only them together, but connect to ground stations, which have been set up on Earth in order to properly track them. So, it's fundamentally goes back. I mean, you can bring it back to the law of thermodynamics, where every system has to be in balance. And if you have a circuit, it has to be inherently balanced with each other. And then any heat that gives off is part of that expression of what's being balanced.
Jesus Christ.
So what's happening is they say that they have configured devices up there that take advantage of Earth's electromagnetic field and can either cling to it or move through it. And when it's clinging to it, it's in a charging state. And when it's moving through it, it's moving perpendicular to the field itself. And they do this by simply reversing the polarity of the device. They did a lot of experimentation with this involving rocket-deployed satellites with tethers, and later the space shuttle program itself. This is their words, not mine. Basically, the shuttle bay doors open up and a gigantic telephone pole erects itself 90 degrees and then shoots off a pod with a tether that could go like tens of miles. And at the top of the tether is a pod, and the pod is a plasma conductor.
How do you change the polarity of something that's that far away from the ground?
I don't freaking know, dude. Ask NASA. I mean, I don't know what they're using, but they describe a lot of this. Like if you check their NASA technical reports server, it's open source, and type in like electrodynamic propulsion or Propel, PROPEL. It's an acronym for something. You'll read all about their electromagnetospheric studies of the upper reaches of the air. And it's weird, like sometimes you'll catch this stuff. Like Don Pettit once like mentioned this in an interview. Like these mainstream astronauts will talk about it. But then everybody thinks everything is happening because everything is orbiting around a globe due to gravity, some magical force that you just like fall into, and all of a sudden you're being carried away by a current. But the funny thing is there's no rotational vector that's required for this to happen. It's ever been produced by any of the telemetry. At least not like if XY is a plane, not in the Z direction. So the curvature is actually happening in flat Cartesian space. Euclidean space, not non-Euclidean. Right. I mean, we've got the flight data recorder information from various flights going back to the 1960s from the National Transportation Safety Board. It's an open system too. You can check. You can look at all the flight recorder data information. There's no rotational vector being portrayed by any of the instrumentation on any aircraft ever throughout aviation history going back to the 60s. So that's a necessary thing that you have to have for the globe. You have to have that rotational vector. You have to maintain down with respect to the Earth below. You have to be like 90 degrees. You have to orient yourself 90 degrees to, I guess, vertically to the tangent of every point on Earth. So your horizontal reference plane has to rotate. Not a single piece of instrumentation has ever picked that up in the history of the world, and still doesn't to this day. So without that rotation around a ball vector, you don't have a ball vector. You don't have a rotation. You don't have a curve. It's flat, guys. And this is further supported by how electromagnetic wave propagation works, by how sound wave propagation works, sonar systems too that we've looked at. It's in the public source. It's confirmed by optical observation in infrared and in visual spectrum. Yeah, what is this place? It's not a spinning globe in outer space. Not at all. Nope. There's something else happening, potentially. But given that NASA was founded to be a psychological exploitation program to cement America's dominance in the world after World War II, it's possible that a lot of these technologies that they're saying that they've used with electrodynamic tethers in the plasmasphere and all this other stuff could just be a bunch of gobbledygook too. So consider them a hostile witness. Take them at their word and how they contradict themselves, and then ask us if we're telling the truth or not.
Real quick, Sporadic, you just highlighted the key to this whole thing is we can tell you what it's not, but telling you what it is, that's natural human curiosity. We understand that, but can you verify it, And the whole story we got about the globe cannot be verified, correct?
That's correct. I'm much more comfortable saying that. I'm much more comfortable saying 100% that this is not what you think it is. And what it actually positively is, I don't know. But I know what it's not. Go ahead.
I heard a debate last night. A guy named Mordwand said that the globe is not geometric. And I thought to myself, well, that's brilliant. That's the best way to describe it. It's not geometric.
Not geometric? So wait, that doesn't make any sense. I need some more context to understand.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's whatever it is, it's not that. It's not geometric. I honestly think it's the best way to describe the globe. It's not geometric. Oh, perfect. It's not the way we describe everything else.
Yeah, I mean, he might be telling the truth. I mean, that guy, for those who don't know, he's one of the king globers on the other side of this. I'd probably elevate him above Mattoon status as far as how much he understands. He's a mathematics genius. He understands quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and cosmology. I mean, he could school most people on these topics. Absolutely.
I DM'd him and I said, "You killed it, bro. You proved the globe to not be geometric. It's not the way we measure things in reality. Perfect. You couldn't ask for a better representative of quote unquote globe."
Would you be able to go back and clip that and present it?
Yeah. No, he. Let me see if I think I have the clip. Here, one sec.
Yeah, that'd be great to have. I mean, that's one for us. Good find.
Well, I think it sounds like he's arguing for globe, though, Sporadic. If I'm listening to him.
No, obviously, he's arguing for globe, but the globe he's arguing for a globe that's, for lack of a better word, not real.
Right, that has no geometric properties to it, huh?
Right.
Exactly.
So what, are you talking simulation theory now? I mean, this is basically, he's abandoning any positive claim to geometry.
Yeah. So there's a problem, though.
So we just can't verify geometry on it? Is that what y'all are saying? We can't verify the geometry.
Yeah, but he's abandoning the claim that the Earth is of any geometric consequence. So if that's true, if he's abandoning that claim, then what is he leaving behind? It's not just a simple like, oh yeah, it's not geometric. And then the globalist is like, good for him. That guy is very thoughtful in mathematics. Like, so what? He's abandoning everything that they've worked so hard to build the Earth to be as in a conceptualization. So what are we going to do now? Are we not going to say it's geometric based on Mordwand's explanations?
I mean,
Well,
that means they only have
double
like
speaking
simulation
because
theory or something crazy and abstract like that to run to. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Right.
but you cannot say the globe is not. I mean, the globe is an expression of geometry. You cannot say it's not geometrical. Then it's not a globe. That's
Yeah. So whoever thinks whoever
What's a
thinks this
globe?
is like, yeah, hold on a minute. Whoever thinks this is better than what you have before is actually going into like a place where you can't even define what you're saying the Earth is. So it was
exactly.
it has always been declared as a no-blade spheroid, right? A globe. So that in and of itself is already. So once you start getting away from that and thinking that's better than what we had before, you're already in the wrong. You can't do that. There's no way that you can get away from the claims that have already been laid down. That right there is not being held accountable. That what you're doing, or anybody advocating for that position, is a person who doesn't want to be held accountable for what the globe has been proposed to be. That's what that is.
Exactly. Exactly. You can take it. You can take that statement either as a concession that the Earth is not a globe, or as a double speak.
Or somebody that's trying to make it sound like, well, what do we mean by globe? Because really, that's not even defined. Let's just everything's into question now. Like, nah, come on, dudes.
Well,
Let's just get real
We
here,
run into
right?
that
Like, that's
tactic
what
all the time, right?
that's
They try to make everything so unfalsifiable and incomprehensible that they say nobody can possibly come to the conclusion of this. And somehow that's a solid defense of their claim. They always make it unfalsifiable by overcomplicating everything.
Dave, I sent that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Double speaking. They claim that they claim that the Earth is a globe and a sphere for sure, and then they claim all the time that you cannot, you cannot make your mind about anything. Yeah,
That's
It's
right.
definitely not better. Definitely not better than. Go ahead, Tito.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if he's saying it's not a matter of geometry, then it's not a claim of geometry. Then they're not claiming a globe. It's just crazy.
Posted it.
exactly. I don't know. What's
Good,
that?
thanks. Yeah, guys, this is their biggest thinker, by their words, not mine.
I actually think he's a very, very bright guy, and I genuinely like the guy, and I genuinely enjoy what he's doing right now. I genuinely enjoy he's going with non-geometric. You have to. And
No, you
that's
don't.
what Einstein did as well. Well, yes, if you want to claim globe, you definitely have to go with non-geometric.
Yeah, but based on who? You? That's not the consensus. We're not going to get a unified answer to say that's right. You guys are on the fringes of like the idea of what the Earth is based on like this new idea. Like, that's not how it works. Dude, you have to go along with the accepted information based on something that has already been decided. You can't then come back around and say, well, we don't really understand because we got a mathematical genius that's saying a new idea, so let's go with that.
You're getting me all wrong here.
But bro,
Einstein did the same thing. Einstein did the same thing. He's like, yeah, it's, non-Euclidean, which basically means it's impossible to measure in reality.
I know that's what you guys want to. Listen,
I don't know who you're calling a glober,
dude. Alpha, he's not a glober, dude.
I don't know who you're saying what you guys do.
You're arguing with somebody who's not a glober, Alpha.
Yeah, but listen to this, right? Even if you think he said something that was profound, right? The reason why you think it's profound is because you're going to make it sound. Yeah, hold on. You just finished saying this, dude. Wasn't he saying that wow, I liked what he's saying, Mordwand, this guy. Is it not like what he was saying? This guy that's saying it right now.
Yeah,
Am I getting that wrong?
No. I definitely like what he's saying about the globe, because the globe can't be measured. In reality, it's non-geometric, it's non-Euclidean, it's not that.
I know,
We
but we can't
here,
take.
in reality, measure that. He's saying,
No,
not that.
yeah, I know, but we still can't.
I'm on the side
If
of
he's hold on,
Veritas.
Berserker, 1 second. But even if he's saying that means that he's already lost touch with the consensus. So we can't take what he's saying as something better than. In other words, he's speaking out his ass, right? Like, so if he's a guy that's purporting to say he's a glober and he's a math genius or whatever, or doesn't matter. But he's not claiming anymore what the mainstream narrative is. So we have to put him aside as like, okay, this guy, he's not a part of the globalist cult, right? He's doing something else. So we're looking for the guys who are adhering to that.
You're looking for guys who are adhering to a Euclidean worldview, a geometric worldview, but they claim that they have people living upside down from them. That is not the mainstream model. The mainstream model is the mainstream model is a non-Euclidean world with people living upside down from each other.
So based on what can be measured is what they're going with, and you're saying it's not. Yeah?
No, they're saying it can't be measured because it's non-geometric.
Really? So you're gonna say something even though there's no basis for it, because even if you're saying it's non-Euclidean, why do we have geometry for the size of the Earth?
Well, that's an entirely different. So
no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's the same. No,
listen.
That's the Newtonian model.
Listen,
that's the Newtonian model, bro.
It doesn't matter. How do you know that? How do you know that?
They're merging two models.
How do you know that?
Dude,
how do you know that?
Because you have Newton and I. Stop interrupting me, bro.
No. I'm asking you, how do you know that? Like, you're not telling me. You're just like, dude, they're just merging the two.
Yeah, because there's a group of people that want to accept the Newtonian worldview. And the Newtonian worldview, frankly, isn't even a ball. But they want to have a ball in a Newtonian Euclidean worldview. And
so Newton came up with the size of the Earth, sir? Did Newton come up with the size of the Earth?
Oh, of course not.
Then why is it a Newtonian model then? How is it a Newtonian model then?
Because they want to have mass attracting mass. They want to have geometry. They want to have. There's a group of people.
Listen to me.
They're literally fighting with each other.
It's very convoluted. Listen, it's very convoluted how you're explaining it. It doesn't matter what theory of gravity they think it is, or even Newton's explanation. They still think it's an oblate spheroid. Either way, dude. It doesn't matter if you're trying to. You don't know what you're saying. If you're a flat earther, you haven't been in this conversation for a long time, and what you're doing is you're kind of putting everything together, and you're just mashing it all up and saying, I got a good way of explaining. No, you don't. Mordwand is talking out of his ass, right? Because he's not adhering to the consensus, so he's already off. He's off the reservation, dude. He's just doing what he wants. So we don't even have to take it.
They're pushing him forward as their champion. Let them do that.
Who's doing that? The zealots that come in here or adhering to the consensus? They're adhering to the Earth being a certain size.
Lord, ask around. They are pushing him forward.
Really?
They are championing him now.
All right. Let's see the effects of that. Let's hear somebody coming in here and championing Mordwand. I haven't heard not one soul do that except for you. You're the only one who's doing it as a flat earther. Nobody's come in here championing that the Earth isn't. Just listen to what I'm saying, dude. The Earth's size. The Earth's size right now, according to how we understand it, as those guys coming in here saying it's a certain size, and we're talking out of our ass. Listen, dude. Listen. Hold on a second, because we don't have a model. They do, and that's what they're adhering to. So you don't know what you're saying by saying they're all talking about Mordwand. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Nobody has a model, bro.
You're saying that, dude, doesn't negate the fact that they come in here and say that. Do you understand? You saying that doesn't negate the fact that these guys come in here and ask us for a model because they think they have one. You don't. You.
They
I
don't have a
even know if you're
model.
like.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, what form are you coming from, dude?
It just so he's a Bevite. Just so you know.
Oh,
I was going to step in earlier, but I thought I was going to be. I can't really be impartial. Yeah, they basically. These guys kicked me out because of the.
Who's this calling me a Bevite? What's a Bevite? What's a Bevite?
This guy, they kicked me out of the server just for simply posting the news. This is how they're too far gone at this point.
Oh my God! This is the guy who posts double posts every day. These weird, obscure double posts.
Is it a Newtonian model or just model?
Yeah, see, look at it was so triggering. Just posting the news of the day was so triggering that they have to ban that. They're so divorced from reality. Bevites.
Who's they?
You're so divorced from reality that even the mainstream news is extremely triggering to look at.
The mainstream news.
He's making it sound, Crit, like there's people that are championing this new guy, Mordwand. Nobody that I've heard of, unless you have in this room, has come in and saying that we're not claiming a model or size of the Earth. Are you kidding me? They're all saying that we know the size of the Earth.
Literally happened last night. Give it some time to percolate. Give it a little time. I guarantee you they consider this guy their new guy. Trust me on this.
Who cares? Why do I care?
There's debates that are lined up or something?
Yeah, as soon as the Bevites triggered over the news, that's all I needed to know about all of you.
Are you all Critites? Is everybody a Critite? Who reads mainstream news? Critites? I'm going to call everybody a Critite here. We all Critites?
Yeah, you can do what you want. Do what you want to do.
But
no one's required to keep a straight face.
Mainstream news and posting GIFs. Dude, it is absolutely the most tedious, annoying thing.
That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. Like, we're talking about your claim of this guy Mordwand have any relevance to do with why people think the Earth is a globe or not. The mass majority of people believe that the Earth... Shut up.
What's a globe?
Up. Shut up, dude. Because you don't.
You're like, it's a globe. What's a globe? Define the fucking term, dipshit.
Yeah, you don't speak for the rest of humanity. People that we know that come in here,
define it.
They will all say, dude, you see, you don't want to listen, do you? You are a Bevite. You guys all act the same. You don't want to listen to when people are speaking because of the fact that you don't have all the facts. You don't have everything that we do. We are in here day in and day out. People do not come in here championing Mordwand, nor do they care about whether or not somebody's claiming the Earth doesn't have a size. They all make it sound like they have the size of the Earth with the model to boot. So they're claiming that they know what's going on, and we don't. And listen, nobody's going to come in here and say, well, we now don't know the size of the Earth because of Mordwand. Nobody's going to say that dumb shit, except for you trying to make it sound like someone's going to. No one's going to, dude. Yeah? That's just the facts of the matter are, people come in here, they make a claim for the size of the Earth, and they want to stick to that and tell us, okay, Flat Earther, now it's your turn. Now, when we don't have a model like they think they do, then they start, putting it over us. But that's what they do. They're not going to champion Mordwand, who's saying, well, we're now the true globe is that we don't even know what it is. That's what Bev thinks. That's what he says. That's why we know that you're a Bevite. Yeah. He says the true globe. Yeah, he says the true globe is unknown. The Earth you can't measure it. So of course, Mordwand, it sounds like now he's hit. He struck a chord with you guys.
He's literally said it's non-geometric.
Yeah, but you think Mordwand's got something to say?
Why do I care? Why would you
give a shit?
Yeah, who gives a shit what some dude says?
Make them hold whether it's geometric.
They can do what they can say what they want. Say what they want.
So none of them have a model then. It's either geometric or it's not geometric.
Dude, that's not mainstream. Mainstream would dictate they do. Mainstream would dictate. Who gives a fuck about Mordwand? He's just some guy on the internet with some fringe idea. Yeah, with some fringe idea. And you're making it sound like he's some dude relative in science. What in academia is he contributing to that he's changing the narrative?
Thank you.
Is he changing the narrative in some way?
Relative is the perfect word.
Yeah, see, he's running away. You're not saying how Mordwand's changing the narrative because he's not doing that just by having some
trying to have a non-geometric He wants to have a non-geometric worldview.
So
Yeah, and
so what?
So what?
Great. So that's the current mainstream model, is a non-geometric worldview.
So what? So
No, dude. No, it's not.
Let
Dude, they
them
say
have
that
it.
they claim geometry. You're not going to win with their talking point of that they don't have
So
a
then they're
size of the earth.
claiming
They
a
do.
contradiction. You can't have geometry and not geometry simultaneously.
so what?
That's why they have refraction. Have
Just
you
go
not been-
fuck off to your safe space and just go hang out there and talk about how you're triggered by the news.
Okay, Crit.
You'll
Just
be
pull
okay.
some more mainstream news, Crit. Pull some
I do.
mainstream news.
Yeah, I
Because
do.
the
I
main-
post every day.
So important.
Every day, yeah. Every day. Multiple
It's important
servers.
to know what mainstream news
Multiple
is.
servers on, and multiple people
What's
get
going
them.
on CNN,
Only one triggered out. The Bevites.
Yes,
I
Jesse.
can't wait to hear what CNN has to say again tomorrow, Crit. It's so important.
Same. Keep up the good work, Crit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's a great litmus test to
Those
see if these people
MSNBC
are even
next, Crit.
able to have a
So-
functional, normal conversation. Like, once they leave the internet, are they able to talk to anybody? Anyone else?
Yeah.
Like, inside this forum, it's one thing. Because they're kind of playing a gag, maybe, or they're playing an act. So if you bring it back to just what the functionally normal people are talking about, like at the water cooler, could you go to the water cooler and have a conversation with these people? They couldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be
Yeah, and
able
the
to
problem
even. Oh, look at gas, fart found in ancient, whatever. I don't know, some random, AI generated headline, and they wouldn't even be able to talk to their coworker about it.
Yeah, he says that he's not accepting anything from the mainstream because he doesn't listen to all that stuff, like the things that you're showing him. Yet he's over here on the debate side for Mordwand. But yet anything Mordwand says, but Mordwand said this, and he's going to run with that.
Who the fuck is Mordwand anyway? What the hell is that? What's a Mordwand?
He's this guy. He's this guy's CNN, basically. Whatever Mordwand says, he's going to come and run in. Oh, do you guys hear what Mordwand said? The latest Mordwand news. Who gives a fuck about Mordwand? Who gives a fuck about CNN? And Crit's only showing you this is what mainstream narrative does. It gets people to think about these ideas that are nonsensical, which is what Mordwand's doing. Giving you a nonsensical idea, and you're running around talking about it's the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, you're making an absolute ass of yourself, dude.
Is like a pet name for Nathan or something? Is that what he's doing? Is that their new name for Nathan Oakley? I was trying to follow. I was just sitting back here listening because I didn't want to blurt right away. This guy's a Bevite because I knew it would poison the well. But I was just trying to follow what the fuck are they talking about? What's he even talking about? They lack basic articulation. Simple, basic articulation. Who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Supposedly, Mordwand's a mathematical genius, and he said some words about the Earth being non-Euclidean, which means that it wouldn't have a geometric shape. And these guys, of course, they want to jump into the idea that the true globe, right, in quotations, because I've seen Bev put this in some of the social medias, true globe, right, is defined as what the Earth actually is versus, what people think the Earth as a globe is. So Mordwand is kind of basically championing one of their points. So it's probably why he's all giddy about it, because he's all like, "Oh, Mordwand, he's siding with us. He's saying the true globe is not known the size of like," and so that's what he's all about, right? This mathematical genius, right? But fuck a Mordwand because we're talking about consensus here. We're talking about narrative, and the agreed upon narrative based upon what we've seen has all been about describing these models and size of the Earth and all that shit. So this guy, he's got a fringe idea. He's off on the internet, and these other guys are on the fringe also, where they're talking about, well, the Earth's not flat because we have mountains, right? They're on the fringe too. So they're just all circle jerking each other to oblivion. Meantime, people coming in here are exclaiming how the Earth has a size based on what we already know. The Eratosthenes is measured, and so forth. So we already know that's the narrative. This guy, he's not speaking any of that. He's just agreeing with some talking points that some, lunatic is saying off on the fringes.
Is
That's
this claim basically a concession that all geometric presentations of the globe have been fabricated thus far?
No, it's some random server with like a couple hundred people on it that no one pays attention or cares about. It's basically the Bev drama playbook. Hey, this other server that you guys don't go to, that has nothing to do with you, with some people you don't talk to, said something. Okay, so what? Okay, and? Well, you should go challenge him on that. No. I don't care.
Do you think politicians are space alien reptiles? Because plenty of Globers say that. Don't you think that? If you don't think that, then you're not a real Glober.
Yeah, or
like
you know what?
Booger eaters. Booger eating schmucks, like whatever, like Huey says. Yeah, I don't. If I would spend the whole day just going server to server, challenging dumb shit that people say, that would be it's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough daylight to do that.
Crit, think about this. And he's talking about the Earth size not being known and shit like this. I'm like, okay, well, check this out, homie. Then ask fucking NASA to redact all their fucking images of the Earth looking like a perfect sphere, in by which you could probably ascertain a size based on a radius, diameter, and circumference. You utter moron.
That's what I was getting at. It's like that claim is going to have to be tagged along with that.
Yeah, no, what I'll add in is, see, I think that Bev has spent a lot of time reading about Korzybski's general semantics. And so what I think he's doing is, I think he's having fun with a lot of the not really experiments, but some of the tests that Korzybski put in his book, Science and Sanity. So if you read that book, which I don't encourage you to because it's about the size of the Bible times 3 or something, written in about 1890, something like that, I think it was, or maybe a little early 1900s one. And so everything that I see Bev doing comes literally from that book. As far as Korzybski's big thing is that there's an unspeakable level to where we all can't describe certain things beyond a certain level. And so I think that what he's just sitting back is laughing, getting these numpties all worked up over, well, what's a globe? Okay, well, what's that? Okay, well, what's that?
Yeah. And that's the problem, right? It is a problem when these guys come in here and he's trying to paint a picture, right? Well, they're going to come in here and just give it a wait. Just give it some time to percolate. I'm like, dude, we don't have to wait. The Earth as a globe has already been propagated for hundreds of years, and it already has behind it a narrative. Now, your little guy Mordwand over here on the internet somewhere is claiming otherwise. Well, we don't know the size of the Earth. Well, that's some bullshit, because then you're going to have to go back to everything that they've been saying and look at why they've been saying it. And no one's going to go with that. Go and challenge, take your little information, and go and challenge the narrative. Why don't you guys go do that? Don't come in here telling us the obvious truth that there isn't a size of the Earth. We know that. They are claiming it, not us. Like, what the fuck? Go challenge those guys. Go take it to their forums.
Yeah, leave me out of whatever meth-fueled panic mode, shields up, red alert. Somebody said something that triggered you. I don't care. Go take it up with them. Whatever they said, whatever they did, I don't care. You do you. You do you in your own space, doing your own thing that has nothing to do with me. Freedom of association. Simple as. God-given right of freedom of association. That's why they made their own server, so they could say and do the things they wanted to say in their own space and not be challenged, not be questioned. They would need their echo chamber. They need their safe space. Let them have it. Duh. It's neighborly. It's neighborly to let them sit in their own spot and do their own thing. Going over there and bothering them is going to increase their victimhood. They're going to feel like they're under attack and they'll want to retaliate. Just let them sit there until they get bored with life, they get bored with the circle jerk, and maybe then they'll leave their safe space and come out and talk to other people.
Yeah, and then some people are saying, well, he's a flat earther. Like Sporadic was saying earlier, he's a flat earther. Well, that's the fruits of somebody's, like, their behavior and how they conduct themselves in their arguments. I don't know that. I don't know him from Adam, so I wouldn't know if he is or not. But just by what he presented, somebody that's a critical thinker would have examined what he said and would have been like, hold on, man. Like, well, yeah, you want to make it sound like he's got something to say. Did you examine what he said? Or did you just take it because it's something that confirms one of your bias? Because that's what it sounded like to me. Like, what are the group with the Bev, guys, they want to agree that the true globe is something that cannot be known and stated with, certainty, like with the size and such. So that's what he really wants. So now this guy was kind of saying exactly what he likes. So it fit in his narrative. So now he wants to use that. And no, as a critical thinker, you have to examine every claim that gets put forth. So somebody who's a flat earther would understand that. They'd be like, oh, yeah, let's just hear what he's got to say. If he says anything, let's listen to him for a little bit. Check him out, right? What is he saying? Does it have any consistency? Because if there isn't any, then how are you going to propose to say that would, ring true? Because Mordwand just might have some ideas that are different from the narrative, but the narrative is what we're talking about. We're going against that, challenging people on those terms, not on what Mordwand's saying, on basically what the consensus has been saying thus far.
Yeah, I agree completely with Veritas. I thought also the guy who is called Horizontal isn't sloped. Yeah, I thought he's a flat earther, but then what he said gave the impression that he is a glober. So I was confused too.
Well,
Yeah, and I thought that
it's definitely a room for examining what people are saying and at least putting it to the test. So if somebody makes the claim, right, we're all listening to him say what he's saying. If it has any validity to coherence to say, like, yeah, this goes along with the mainstream narrative, or it goes against it, which it sounded like what he was proposing goes against the narrative. But he's then therefore saying that then this guy got it right. He has it. Mordwand has it right. I'm like, dude, wait a minute. Like, no, you're jumping the gun. You've already said he got it right because he's saying it's non-Euclidean. So, and by that meaning that there's no way to define the geometric consequence of an oblate spheroid. But that's not what the others are saying. So you're in conflict with what they're saying. So if he had that kind of a beef, well, take it to their forums. Go over there and argue with those guys about it. It's a well done to us, right?
There's a difference between whether or not the surface is non-Euclidean and whether or not the space it's embedded in is non-Euclidean. Because we can take Euclidean measurements, azimuth and elevation, and apply it to a presupposed spherical surface to see any deviation, which we've done. So if they're going to claim that space-time itself, that our reality is non-Euclidean in a way that can not be tested, in a way that requires extracting yourself from this frame of reference to another, then the burden is on them to prove that which they're claiming is unfalsifiable.
Yeah, look,
it's a huge burden. It's a huge burden to carry, right? Like, I mean, who's going to champion that? Go ahead.
Just two simple questions. When someone says the Earth is a globe, doesn't he say in the same time or imply that the Earth is a sphere?
It's the
yeah, okay.
I mean, it would have to be, if they're implying globe, then yeah.
They mean a sphere, right?
Oblate spheroid. I mean, you can put it to whatever way that they would exclaim it to be. But yeah.
Yeah, a plate spheroid is still non-perfect sphere, right? But isn't the sphere a geometrical expression? So doesn't that imply that the person is exercising double speaking? Because when he says the Earth is a globe, and a
Oh yeah,
sphere,
but that's what Sporadic was just saying right now. That's what he was saying.
yeah. So you can see immediately that he's practicing double speaking, or he's dishonest, and yeah, it's
No,
not
but
that Earth is
nobody's challenged Mordwin on these points, right? And I think that's Mordwin, if he's coming up with this information, hasn't challenged the narrative, whereas the narrative would have probably pushed back on and probably told him what Sporadic did. So it's
Right.
duh, we and I don't know who he was speaking to in a debate, so it could have just been
Shane, It was Shane St. Pierre. I'm in a back chat with Shane right now about this. So Mordwand is basically saying that all your straight line propagation of lasers, of infrared observations, is actually curving, and you have no way of telling whether or not it's curved or straight in reality.
Fuck's sake, dude.
I'm totally serious. That's what he's saying.
Right. So no one knows how.
May I say something?
That's just pushing. That's just pushing the claim to be not verified. And on there, like, even if he's trying to do it, he's trying to make it unfalsifiable. So now what? You can't. You're not able to find out. Like, what the fuck? We're just gonna leave it to the big question.
How does he substantiate this unvalidatable claim? Like,
exactly.
You can just make up stuff.
It's done through relativity and statistics, probability.
Oh my god, bro!
I'm totally serious, guys. I'm like 1,000% serious. Yep.
Yeah, let's remember, you guys, the ether cosmology people. They got their own framework too. So it's like, don't try to like marry it into where the globe is or where flat Earth is. Just like kind of meet them at their own conclusions. I guess, okay, what I'm trying to say is I'm on their server, and it's delightful. They take care of trolls, and there isn't a lot of anti-flat Earth content posted there, but they go into a lot of what we would call speculation, and it's just how they want it. They think from their point of view, the surface of the Earth is settled. That is settled. The surface of the Earth is flat. Now they want to move on to bigger and better things, like exploring the heavens and demonstrating how the sky works or how the sky doesn't work. And they're working through it. And it might seem counterintuitive from our point of view, but from their point of view, enough is enough. Okay, the surface of the Earth is fully measured, adjudicated, mapped, measured, everything. It's like, okay, we know that's a banana on the table. Okay, now how did I get such a great photo of the banana? Tell me how the light. Okay, go ahead. Was that Berserker? I'll try.
No, Dreamer. Remember last night? If you're not talking, mute up, Dreamer. Stop making noises through the conversation, Dreamer.
Yeah, so I mean, simply put, the people have their own ideas and their own servers that when you take it out of context, when you pull just one screenshot or one idea out of the context of that full server or that full community, it might be off-putting. It might not match very well. So if somebody, okay, not you, but if somebody wants to really know what this, what was the guy's, Mordwand or whatever, if you really want to know what he's saying, you don't need a third person. You don't need it filtered through Bevite. Go to that person and ask them, what are you talking about? As soon as you filter anything through a Bevite, it's going to get even worse. Just even basic science and space news filtered through the lens of a Bevite turns into an extremely triggering event. So obviously anything at that point is going to be like filtered through that is going to be utterly worthless. Hot garbage.